Hello, this is another Writer's Chalk Talk, and I'm going to discuss motivation. You can't stare at a blank page. You need to fill it up many times a day. Sometimes that seems impossible. Let's talk about how to keep your motivation high. There are three basic methods of motivation. They are passive, external, and internal. The passive method of motivation may be the most common, and it's also the most useless. This form of getting the impulse to work is known as waiting for the muse. In olden times, people thought ideas came from a creative spirit. The muse would speak to them. There was no guilt about words not appearing on the page. It was the muse's fault for not speaking. This passive method of motivation is strictly for the superstitious. If you wait for a voice to speak to you, you'll probably be staring at a blank page for a long time. External motivation is when you give yourself a reward when you accomplish a certain writing goal, like a predetermined word count or finishing a section or a chapter. The usual external motivations are food, perhaps an adult beverage, or viewing a favorite TV show or movie. The idea behind external motivation is that a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. The writing itself does not satisfy, so you have to bribe yourself to complete your daily writing task. External motivation is best for skinny people because you need an enormous number of motivators to complete a book. In my view, internal motivation is the real deal. It requires a person to take a look within for their motivation. You write for the joy of writing, not because you're waiting for a muse to speak or for a donut to call your name. Writers need to examine their own minds to get internal motivation working for them. You see, pleasure and pain receptors in your brain need to be adjusted. You depend on passive or external motivation because there is more pain in writing for you than there is pleasure. You need to give yourself a large dose of pleasure to kill off the pain. Writers need to reset that pain-pleasure balance. When you change the balance so that you get pleasure from writing, then you don't need any other kind of motivation. Writing becomes the motivation for writing. Writing becomes your addiction. How do you reprogram yourself? Through association. Associate good feelings, not rewards, with writing. Surround yourself with pleasurable fragrances, music, and images. You don't want hard rock and roll or other distracting music, however. Your goal is to gently alter your brain's neuroreceptors by releasing natural opioids and dopamine that automatically keep you motivated. There is one other factor that will keep your internal motivation high. That is, turn off the negative self-talk in your brain. Whenever you become aware of it in your head, reach for an imaginary remote control and turn it off just as you would use a real remote to turn off your TV. You can't write well if your mind is competing with negative self-talk. Try these tips to keep yourself naturally motivated to keep on writing.